What's up guys, and welcome back to some more Pokemon Sun and Moon coverage, and yet again we're doing some more Mega Evolution speculation, still on Kanto here, part number 5. Let's just jump in. So the first Pokemon we're looking at today is going to be Mega Persian. Yes, not exactly the most common Mega Evolution that comes to mind when you think of possibles, but I guess it is, well, anything's possible at this point, but Mega Persian. So Persian is a pure normal type in its basic form. What type could a Mega Persian be? Well, of course it could stay being pure normal, or it could gain a secondary type as well. I can't really see it losing the normal typing because, you know, look at normal Persian. Yes, obviously it's normal because of the sort of design of it, the cream colour of its skin. You can't really imagine having a particular type to it. And any Mega Persian design that comes from it, and really you couldn't get rid of the normal typing that much. You can add another one onto it, of course. Two options here are Normal Dark and Normal Ghost. I'm not too fond of Normal Ghost, but I guess it is possible if they sort of made it sort of more mystical almost. But Normal Dark is very possible, of course, just because of it, you know, its design could turn a bit more menacing and such like that. Stat change wise for Mega Persian, I mean, it's what it's good at the moment, you know, attack and speed. Mega Persian, or Normal Persian as well, is a speedy Pokemon and can do some decent physical damage as well. So I can only see them building on that, you know, for the Mega anyway. You could also have a reasonable defense boost as well, just to make it a bit more, you know, sturdy, because of course Normal Persian is not a Pokemon that's known for taking hits. You basically go and use Fake Out, and then you go for your priority moves or whatever, and just get some damage off like that. And really, if you take 1 or 2 moves, you're dead. So Mega Persian I could see, as well as getting a decent boost for attack and speed, as well as a reasonable boost in defense as well, maybe even special defense too, just to make it a bit more sturdy. And obviously its attack boost would not be so much that it would be unkillable basically. So yeah, that, you know, make it a strong attacker and a fast Pokemon, but also give it some decent defense as well. Ability wise, for Persian, it could carry across Technician, which is one of its basic abilities. However, that doesn't really seem like it would work very well on a Mega Evolution. Yes, okay, it's got some moves that benefit from it, but it just wouldn't make it much sense to me, you know, especially if you give it that attack boost and the speed boost. It's really going to use those to its advantage. It seems like it should be using stronger moves, you know, more powerful moves, rather than just basic ones like Fake Out, and I can't even remember what Persian uses anyway. You know, but I feel like stronger moves should be used, so Technician I don't feel like would be very good. Another option here is Magic Bounce. This would be more if it was Normal Ghost type, possibly Normal Dark type. Give it some sort of mystical effect to it, having Magic Bounce work, so that anything that is used on you bounces back to the opponent, so Spikes, Sticky Web, and Stealth Rock, stuff like that. I think that would be helpful for Mega Persian to have, just as, you know, it's helpful for any Pokemon to have, but you could use Mega Persian as a lead, you know, Mega Evolve, and then obviously anything they send across to you is going to bounce back. So that's one option. The other one I thought, which is really sort of out there, is Multiscale. This obviously would depend on what the design looked like. You know, Multiscale doesn't really sound like it would fit, so maybe a variant of Multiscale or something along those lines. Obviously Multiscale reduces the effect, it reduces the power of moves when you're at full health points, so it's, you know, similar to giving it bulk as well, so it means the first attack you take, you're not going to take as much damage, which would make a lot of sense for Persian, since it's not that bulky Pokemon anyway. It just means it can survive 1 or 2 more attacks, and of course you could then, you know, take an attack and then switch out and combo it with a Wish or something similar to that to get you back to full health points. It's just an idea there, I don't know. Apart from those abilities, nothing really seemed to fit. And of course Multiscale doesn't fit anyway, so Magic Bounce isn't very good either, but those are the possibilities I felt were sort of the best I could get almost. If of course you have any other ideas, let me know down below, but we'll move on to the next Pokemon, which is going to be Mega Golduck. Golduck seems like that Pokemon that really, you know, needs a Mega Evolution, I say. You know, no one uses Golduck at all. It's sort of the forgotten Pokemon. Obviously it's a pure water type. I think adding a second type to it would be really interesting for a Mega Evolution. So of course it could stay pure water, or it could get water psychic. That would make a lot of sense. It does have that good old jewel in the middle of its head, which sometimes denotes a psychic type Pokemon or something similar. And of course it could change from water psychic as well. It could be water ghost possibly, if they were going to give it a ghosty sort of design. Apart from that, I can't really see anything else you would add to it, but water psychic seems like the best typing for it, to be honest, in my opinion. Stat change wise, I think it's a special attack released. I feel a boost in special attack would be very good for it, and also a boost in speed. I would imagine it being this nice speedy, or reasonably speedy, Mega Golduck with some decent special attack. Its defenses wouldn't be amazingly high, but it might be this, you know, really sort of powerful special attacker with some nice speed to it. Ability wise, it could carry across Swift Swim, which is one of its normal abilities, which obviously doubles speed in rain. It's a possibility, I suppose, if you were going to use a rain team. Of course, Mega Swampert has Swift Swim, so you certainly can't say it's not an ability they would use for Mega Evolution. However, it wouldn't be the best use of it. Again, I was lost for abilities you could use for Mega Golduck here. One of the ones I did think of was Storm Drain, which draws on all water type moves. Yes, maybe not the best one, but it would give Mega Golduck a nice use in double battles. You know, obviously Storm Drain is going to absorb any water type attacks, so you could, you know, easily use a rock type or a water type alongside it, and end up, you know, not having to take any water type attacks basically. Or the third ability I thought of was Unaware, which ignores any stat changes on the opposing Pokemon, which I think would be pretty good. You know, it would stop anyone boosting their defenses to try and, you know, not taking damage from Mega Golduck. Of course, I think the same goes for if the defenses are lowered, or I don't think the same accounts for speed, but so of course, you know, you wouldn't lower them. There'd be no point to lowering them if you were going to use Mega Golduck on your team. So, you know, Unaware would be pretty good though. You know, if they got an enemy with Calm Mind who's really bulking up, you know, got loads of special defense, you send in Mega Golduck, they're unaware, they're not going to care about the boosted special defense. They can just, you know, use a Hydro Pump or whatever, and that'd be it. So I felt that'd be a really powerful ability for Mega Golduck to use, but that's, you know, really all I've got. Storm Drain isn't really a powerful choice. I really couldn't think of anything else for Mega Golduck, to be honest. So let's move on now to Primeape. We have Mega Primeape, of course. Primeape being a pure fighting type. In terms of what typing a Mega Primeape could be, there aren't that many you could choose from, in my opinion. Yes, okay, it could stay pure fighting. What is it going to change to, of course, apart from that? You know, fighting Steel, that would make no sense because it's a monkey. You know, the only thing that would make sense is the bands on its arms being Steel, possibly, but again, that's a very big stretch. So the only other type I could come up with is Fighting Ground, just because obviously it's a monkey, it spends a lot of time on the ground. That was the only thing that remotely made sense, but of course the pure fighting would be the most likely option, I'd say. Stat change wise, for a Mega Primeape, I would see it being obviously a physical attacker because it's fighting type, and that's basically what normal Primeape does, but also a boost in physical defense, just being this nice sort of bulky, but also having some decent physical attack as well. Special defense, I wouldn't see getting a very big boost at all. It would stay almost the same, if not slightly higher or even lower maybe. Speed, I can't see a very big boost in speed, just because, you know, it's not going to be a very fast Pokemon. It's going to be sort of moving around slowly and sluggishly, while also being able to deal decent damage. And then special attack obviously would get a slight boost, but it wouldn't be used. It wouldn't be a relevant boost. Ability wise though, I think one of its basic abilities is Defiance, so it could certainly carry that across, which I believe raises physical attack whenever any other stat is lowered. And it doesn't just raise it by one stage, it raises it by 2 stages, so it's definitely a very powerful ability, of course. If someone were to switch it on you with Intimidate, boom, there you are. That's a nice +2 in physical attack rather than a -1 in physical attack, so it would be really useful. Another one I thought of was Pure Power, which is similar to Huge Power, of course, but Pure Power is also had by Medicham, and I think Mega Medicham carries it across. But Pure Power basically doubles your attack stat, which is very, very powerful. And Mega Primeape would do a lot of damage. It could be useful because obviously Primeape's attack stat isn't hugely high to begin with, so Pure Power could be useful. Or the last ability I thought of was Mold Breaker, which would allow it to use moves regardless of abilities, so stuff like Earthquake. I'm pretty sure Primeape gets Earthquake. Earthquake would be able to hit Levitators and stuff like that, and you wouldn't have to worry about abilities at all. And Mold Breaker would just make sense for Primeape. Seems like the kind of Pokemon that wouldn't really care. Just goes and attacks and does damage regardless. So that's Mega Primeape there. Then we move on to Mega Arcanine. Mega Arcanine. Obviously Arcanine, a pure fire type. I know a lot of people would love to see a Mega Arcanine, and I would too. It really just feels like a Mega Evolution for Arcanine would look amazing. I can't explain it in words, but I feel like it would be just really cool. What typing would it be? Of course it could stay pure fire. I couldn't think of many other options for it. What's it going to change into? Fire Dark? Maybe, but the only other one I thought was Fire Normal. Yes, it's very similar to Pyroar, so that's the only reason I wouldn't say it. But the reason I would say it is because then it would get Stab Extreme Speed. That's the only sort of bonus to it, but I thought I'd get that mentioned at least. Stat change wise for Mega Arcanine though, I mean, physical attacks boost and a speed boost would make a lot of sense for it, because that's what it's decent at in the first place. Maybe give it a nice, really high speed boost to make it a nice, speedier Pokemon than it was before, and a decent attack boost. Physical defense, yeah, I can see it getting a decent boost as well. Obviously, special attack might get a pretty good boost too, because it can be used as a special attacker, if I remember correctly. And of course, special defense can get a decent boost as well. So I wouldn't see the boosts being amazingly high in many of its stats, but having like a good boost, overall. Ability-wise, for Mega Arcanine is where it gets a bit interesting. Its basic abilities like Flash, Fire, and whatever else, which they're not very good at all, basically. So the ones I chose here, well, first one was Huge Power, which should obviously double the attack stat, which is a very powerful ability. I'm not sure if it would be too powerful to Mega Arcanine or not, so I don't really know, but it's a possibility if we were going for like full attacking, basically. Then we have Adaptability, which obviously increases the power of stand moves to 3 times rather than 2 times. I think, well, it changes the power of them basically. So that would be really, really powerful if it was a fire normal type, because obviously it's fire type attacks would get boosted with that, as well as extreme speed would be. Of course, if it's just a pure fire type, adaptability wouldn't be as useful, since it only gets the sort of the benefit on one type of move, so maybe not there. But the last one I saw thrown about somewhere as an idea was Fur Coat. Now, if you don't remember what Fur Coat is, it is what a Furfrou has. And that basically increases its defensive stat, actually, or halves damage, from physical moves. So basically doubles your defense. And I feel like that would be really interesting to have on Mega Arcanine too, because obviously it has fur, and it has a lot of fur if you look at its normal Arcanine. So you can only imagine what a Mega would do. But Fur Coat, halving the damage from all physical moves, would make Arcanine or Mega Arcanine both a physical attacker with some decent damage, as well as a really defensive Pokemon, and it does make some good use from defense in its normal Arcanine anyway. You can use sort of defensive stuff and actually take some decent hits before you die. So a Fur Coat would make Mega Arcanine a really interesting Pokemon to use, in my opinion, of course. Just my opinion. Then the final Pokemon we're going to look at for today is going to be Mega Poliwrath. So the final form, or one of the final forms of Poliwag, Mega Poliwrath. Obviously normal Poliwrath is a water fighting type. I thought about it and I couldn't really think of any other typing you could give to Mega Poliwrath, because you can't take away water, because that's sort of what its whole line is about, and fighting is what makes Poliwrath and not Poliwhirl. So water fighting would have to stay as a type in my opinion. Stat change wise though, very similar to what we've seen previously today, an attack boost and a defense boost as well. I would see it becoming this really, maybe, in this design here, its arms and its hands grow into sort of flat fingers, so I could see it like using it to defend itself and have a really pretty high defense stat, as well as having a decent attack stat backwards. Maybe not have that much of a speed stat anymore, maybe a slight speed reduction or no speed boost at all, because at least with this design, its feet have basically gone. They've been replaced by little things that actually moves on its hands now, this design seems to. But who knows what the actual Mega Poliwrath might or will look like. So maybe its speed would be lowered, or not much higher at all. Special attack obviously wouldn't really get a boost at all, and special defense would maybe get a small boost, but not a huge boost. So, being a defensive and a slow Pokemon for Mega Poliwrath, as well as having a decent attack stat, would make it really interesting to use, I think. Ability-wise, again, I had some problems choosing. I don't know what it is with Pokemon in this video. I had problems choosing abilities for this guy. I mentioned Defiant again, which obviously increases your attack stat by 2 stages if your stats are lowered in general, so that would be good. Why not? If someone tries to lower your physical defense to make you easier to hit, your attack gets boosted nicely. Another ability I thought of was Anger Points, which sharply raises your attack if you're hit by a critical hit. So again, if you're defensive, that means you can take some decent attacks, some decent crits, and work like that and get a nice attack boost if you do. Of course, Anger Points not, let's say, the most reliable ability, of course. And the final one I thought of was Guts, which obviously raises the attack stat if you're burnt. I'm not a huge fan of that, because I don't like being burnt generally. But maybe it would come in use every now and again if you got burnt. So it's like, aha! Well, people would know you have Guts, so they wouldn't necessarily burn you straight off. But if you could get burnt somehow, and Guts whacked into work, that would be really interesting to see how that would go there. But again, as I mentioned, I just really didn't have any ideas for Mega Poliwrath here. So if you have any more, feel free to let me know down in the comment section, because I was really stumped for some of these Pokemon. But that's the last Mega Evolution for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button down below and leave a comment telling me what you thought about the Mega Evolutions covered in today's video. But for now, this is going to be it for me for today. I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.